racing fans. Welcome to the Inside Post. This week, obviously, Saturday, May 17th, we have the Preakness Stakes running at Pimlico Racetrack. Going to go through the field, giving you our best bet, next up contender, and obviously a long shot play for this Grade 1 $2 million Triple Crown race. Obviously, we don't have Triple Crown in contention, but we do have 9 horses that are looking for a Grade 1 victory and a little bit add the $2 million and a Triple Crown winner to their resume. So we start off on the inside with Goal Oriented. Bob Baffert's horse in here. He did have Rodriguez entered as well, but his foot, hoof, ankle, whatever you want to call it, still not really completely healed, but he's still able to get around the track and has been putting in some workouts. So it doesn't look like too much longer we should see Rodriguez. So he has the lone entrant of Goal Oriented. We always see Baffert angle one of his fresher horses in here. And not saying that Goal Oriented is a fresh horse. This horse raced May 3rd. So did race the Kentucky Derby week. But is placed in here obviously off of a pretty good short rest. And looks to pick up a really good graded stakes victory. Horse has a lot of front end speed. Right now, Timeform US has this horse as a 123 pace projection. Probably going to be the pace setter. Shouldn't have any problems from the rail. There is going to be a lot of speed from the outside. But if we see anything like Citizens Bull, who took out, post 2 through 5, kind of the same thing here. Goal Oriented needs to get to the lead, but has done it from coming from off the pace. But that was 6 furlongs. Has a win over a sloppy track, so I do believe we're supposed to get some weather for Saturday at Pimlico. So just kind of handicapping for a little bit of an off track, even though anything can happen in this type of mile and 3/16 race. So has some really good speeds. The 91 speed figures both times out. Again, going to go a little further, stretching out yet again in its third start. Sired by Night this time by Giants Causeway. The Damn Busy Caroline is out of Fleet Alex. So we're looking at, a pedigree that's pretty decent. This one's not getting a whole lot of buzz like most Baffert horses do. Rodriguez probably would be the better angle in here if he stayed. But this one has to take into consideration for what Bob Baffert usually kind of does in these Preakness races. Since he's missed out on the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness has been kind of his go-to in recent years. This one's works look pretty decent. His last one at Churchill Downs, May 11th, only went 4 furlongs though, but did it in pretty good time, 47-3. Then he went 5 furlongs about a week before his May 3rd victory and was 59-1. So the workout's pretty consistent. Again, looked to be tuned up for this type of race. Number 2, Journalism, the rightful 8-5 favorite. Probably going to be post-time favorite in here. I don't see any other horses taking money away from him. Rightfully so. This one's going to get bet. Going to be a lot of people's top picks. Rightfully should be the top pick in here just because of what he's been able to do from the Los Al, Futurity, the San Felipe, the Sanday Anita Derby, and hell, even in the Kentucky Derby, finishing second to a really great Sovereignty that was just on his game that day on the slot. So, Journalism did look like he was kind of maybe getting a little bit tired going a mile and a quarter. So we'll see what the mile and 3/16 does to him. I just think there's not going to be as much traffic, and maybe the track won't be as bad off as what it was at Churchill with the slop. So I think we see Journalism definitely going to have some pace to close into, and I think we're going to see him kind of do that as well in here. He's going to come from off the pace, but as we've seen the Preakness in the couple of past races, front end speed has been very, very dangerous. So we'll see if he's able to close into what's going to be, a pretty good, honest early pace for this type of race. I mean, they're sitting this horse in here for the right reasons. They're thinking that, they could pick up a Triple Crown win, get him another Grade 1, and this one would fit really good on his shelf for his career. 3, we have American Promise. We know what Dwayne Lucas can do in these types of races. However, this one does come off of a disappointing 16th in the Kentucky Derby after just blowing out the competition in that Virginia Derby, basically setting all kinds of records, I believe, at Colonial Downs for their mile and 1/8 track or for their mile and 1/8 race, setting the record for that type of an event. So he kind of comes back in the Derby, just doesn't perform as expected. He was getting bet pretty hard. I think he was bet down to 12-1 by the time the gates open. And again, disappointing sixth. He was one that kind of got bumped early, maybe taken out, whatever you want to call it. So looking for the rebound. Dwayne Lucas just knows what to do with horses on short rest. So we'll see what he's able to do. Looking back, the horse really hasn't come off of a 2-week stint before. So we'll see. Again, Dwayne Lucas, usually the best one at it. So we'll see what he's got. 4, Heart of Honor, the UAE Derby runner-up behind Admire Daytona, who did make the Kentucky Derby gate and obviously finished dead last. This one's a tough one. Don't really know what to do with this one. It's going to come in pretty fresh compared to some of these other horses. Last raced April 5th. I feel like the horse is going to be a closer. If I can remember back to the UAE Derby, I think that horse was a closing type. So again, tough to know, tough to see. This one was talked a lot about in the UAE Derby. Has ran against Golden Vacoma, who's been a really stellar horse over there in Maidan. So we'll see what this one's able to do shipping in. Has ran at the distance. So again, another check mark. But what are we going to get when the horse ships in? We've yet to really see them perform really somewhat well. 5, big long shot in here in Pay Billy for Michael Gorham. Currently 20-1. This one's probably going to balloon up to maybe 30 or 40-1. He does come out of that Federico Tesso Stakes, kind of like a prep out of Laurel Park for this Preakness. Not bad. 85 speed figures. Does have a little bit of mid-pack speed to be a play in here. But I just think some of these other horses, the class of the field, is just going to be a little bit too much for Pay Billy. But however, if he does win, he sure is going to pay like his name. 6, River Tame, Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz. Saw a stat where Irad Ortiz was like 0 for 100 in this type of race at Pimlico. So I don't know. He's definitely going to be up against it in here. I do like that the horse comes out of the bluegrass and points to this type of race. The distance is the big question mark right now for us. If he really wants to do this, is he going to be a better sprinter? Is he going to be just maybe a one-turn mile horse, or just kind of sticking to that mile type race? So he's going to have to go big in here, go 2 turns, and I just think it could be a little bit of trouble. Now, he does have some speed. He does have the pedigree. It's just the horse really hasn't showed that he wants to go the distance yet. The Fountain of Youth, yes, ran second to Sovereignty, the Kentucky Derby winner, in the bluegrass behind Burnham Square and East Avenue in that one as well. So he does come off a little bit of fresh. So that's kind of like what we like to see. Todd Pletcher, again, pretty good at these type of races. It's just right now that little cloud of the data or statistics that's hanging over Irad Ortiz's head is he's not very good at Pimlico at this type of race. So maybe he'll break it. We'll see. This one's kind of like one that's just sitting there, lingering. Don't really know what to do with it. But again, another one that's fresh. 7, Sandman, the buzz, popular horse, the social media horse, I guess, is kind of what it's getting from Art Cass. Johnny Velasquez is going to get to mount here. Very interesting. Jose Ortiz, obviously not necessarily kicked off, but he's going to go ride elsewhere. Kind of like to switch up in here to see if he can do anything else. This is going to be a big closer. Should have a lot of speed in here to run into, like he should have had in the Derby. He just never got going. So we'll see if the distance is going to be a problem for Sandman yet again. I don't know. We usually see that the Tappet pedigree do better at Belmont, so we'll see if that maybe plays into it. Again, maybe this one is better at 1-turn miles or just going a mile. I just don't know what to do with this one. I'm very shocked that he is put into the Preakness off of a little bit of a disappointing effort in the Kentucky Derby and off of a quick turnaround. We really haven't seen that with these connections or even with this horse. I'm trying to look back through the past performances. Maybe I'm 4 or 5 weeks is the stretch for this horse. When he first got going, he did come off June 27th to August 10th, so roughly about 2 weeks early on, but he was sprinting. He was going 6 and 7 furlongs. and he fared fairly well. But that's a whole lot of different competition that he was going up against. And basically a whole month ago, or a whole year ago from when he was going at a shorter distance or shorter time off. 8, Clever Again. Kind of going under the radar. This one is where Jose Ortiz is going. He takes his mount, obviously, from Sandman to Clever Again for Steve Asmussen. Very interesting. This one comes out of the Hot Springs Stakes at Oaklawn Park. A big 101 speed figure in there, beating out Gaming in perfect force. So we all know what Gaming was supposed to be, a really good horse, and then it kind of fell off. This one is going to have to go a little bit further, mile and 3/16 compared to what he's been running in the mile or mile and 1/16. So I like that they've kind of eased this horse into the distance. 2 times now he's ran over a mile, and he's fared fairly well. However, he did break his maiden at a 110 and then just goes into a regular stakes race of 200,000. So this will be his first graded race, graded competition. So the class is going to be a little bit stiff. The pedigree looks phenomenal. We have American Pharaoh with Pioneer of the Nile, and the dam we have Flattering with Galileo. Just looks phenomenal on the breeding side. We have Winchell Thoroughbreds as the owners. Yes, the horse should be 5-1 or even lower. Probably of the lower priced horses out of journalism, Sandman, maybe even goal oriented, will be the one that's going to be the second betting choice in here outside of journalism. I just think that horse is going to get a lot of attention. A lot of people are going to like what they saw in the Hot Springs, beating out Gaming. A little bit of a fresh horse coming in. This one could be very dangerous at 5-1. And 9, Gossker, all the way to the outside. Brendan Walsh, Luis Saez, another one with some early speed that doesn't really need the lead but could sit off the pace. And I think that's what we'll see Luis Saez do, is set off the pace with Gossker. Love the gray in here by Nyquist with a little bit of Uncle Mo. And then the dam Gloria is by Tappet. So another one, 3 starts, has 2 victories. The Lexington, the grade 3. Not much in there. Bracket Buster, Prater is what the horse beat. So the class was a little weak. And then breaking the maiden at the $70,000 level. Now, is the horse going to be 20-1? Absolutely not. No way that this horse gets anywhere close. Maybe we may not even see double digits. It could be down to the single digits come post time. But if it's 20-1, this one's definitely worth a play in here for sure. All right, so if you stuck around, this is what you've waited for. You've wanted to see our picks, where we're going, what are we thinking for this 150th Preakness. Obviously, number 2, journalism, is going to be a lot of people's top picks. Rightfully so. The speed figures are there. What he was able to do in the Kentucky Derby, just getting beat out by Sovereignty on the slop, comes back in here. Connections, are confident that the horse is going to run big in this type of race off a short rest. I like him in here as well. Mike McCarthy, is so going back short distance or short time off for horses. So I think he's definitely going to be a player. 8-5, what he's been able to do with 2 grade 2 victories and a grade 1 in the Santa Anita Derby. He's the class of the field. Obviously, he's going to be the competition and the toughest one in here to beat. Second pick is going to be Clever Again. The horse looked really good in that hot springs. I like that he has some early speed to be dealt with. I like the pedigree, the American Pharaoh, the Flattering. Just looks phenomenal for what this horse is going into as this 3-year-old season starts. He's fresh. He comes out of a big $110,000 maiden level race. Definitely could be dangerous in here, as we see a lot of horses that are close to the front or has that early speed can be very, very dangerous. I like that he's 5-1 right now. If we're kind of playing off of 8-5 on journalism or shorter, this one has a little bit more value for us in the sense of we could put a win wager on this horse or even a win play show wager and kind of have a little bit of value or money to be made. Next, goal-oriented, number 1. We're going to take a stab at this one. Yes, he's probably going to get bet, but I feel like he's going to stay around 6-7-1. I like the early speed. I like the consistency in the speed figures. I like the workouts he's putting in. He looks phenomenal. He looks consistent. It's just what are we going to do with the distance? Are we going to be able to get the mile and 3/16? I like that he comes off a short rest. Bob Baffert has done this plenty times before, coming into the Preakness. I just don't know which Baffert horse this is. This is probably his 5th, 6th string behind Citizens Bull, Rodriguez, Cornucopia, Barnes, Gaming, all those type of horses. So I think this one's a very, very far outsider for our like 3rd slot. Not necessarily a long shot play, but he's definitely in that 3rd slot of what do we do with this horse? And our long shot, if you watched our long shot video, it's number 9, Gossker. I don't see this horse getting 20-1. If it is, what luck could we as bettors get with this horse being 20-1? If it is, run, bet it, lock it, however you can lock it in. Get 20-1 on Gossker. I think he's going to run good in here. Win worthy, that's the question mark. I think he's going to play into these exactas and trifectas. And if we can get him at 20-1, we should have a nice payout for the exacta and trifecta for Preakness. Or even superfecta. If you kind of stretch out your tickets, throw Gossker underneath into superfecta, should help your ticket structure as well. So there's our picks for the 150th Preakness at Pimlico for Saturday, May 17th. Obviously, journalism on top. Gonna try to beat him with Clever again at a pretty good price. So we'll see what happens. Number 9, Gossker, is our long shot play. We thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the weekend. Comment down below your picks or your bets, and we hope you win big.